CEO of Atomic Revenue. So excited to have her as our facilitator today. Tara's first revenue revelation occurred at age 3 when she found a market for gravel washed in a dog watering bowl, which is hilarious, I think, as a 3-year-old. But she has since devoted her career to problem solving and profit producing as an owner, key executive, fractional manager, or strategic advisor for over 45 businesses. So she is currently the CEO of Atomic Revenue, president of Avis, mom of 2 energetic daughters, as well as a national speaker on process, data, dashboards, and KPI-related topics. Tara believes that technology disrupts traditional hierarchy by uniting organizations top to bottom through process and data, which streamlines operations, drives down costs, and improves human performance. Distributing leadership to every role within the organization meets the demands of today's customers and workforce. She loves finding the path for all ships to rise together because all people are empowered by effective process and accurate data regardless of their journey. Thanks so much, Tara, for being here, and just so excited to have both of you, also Liz, and I'll hand it over to you guys.
All right, well, thank you. I'm going to share my screen, but Liz is going to kick us off, so. You can do a little intro of yourself, Liz, maybe, because this is not going quickly here.
Okay. So, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Liz Zanter. I am CTO of Avis. We are a managed dashboard solutions provider. I am also the Chief Data Advisor of Atomic Revenue. I work very closely with Tara. On top of that, I'm a cat mom. I like to collect things. And this weekend, I am officially a competitive powerlifter, which is very exciting. A little bit on my background, I have some experience with implementation of Watson AI automation services for supply chain manufacturing. And Tara likes to say that I am a Swiss Army knife for a lot of things. I help companies with their data, their systems, processes, automation, and overall integration of all those systems to work in one cohesive unit.
Liz is the go-to. Whenever anybody's tripped up, we just know who to call at our company. Everybody needs a Liz. So, you know, along the theme of Data Dork 1, Liz, I'll introduce myself. Although you do need to connect with Liz on LinkedIn, yes. You're going to see this information come up again later. I'll be Data Dork 2. I usually get to be Data Dork solo, and I'm really excited to have a counterpart today. You know, Christina already introduced me. You know, I think my big thing is School of Hard Knocks is a really great education source. And I've been part of 76 companies in 8 different industries, including leadership roles in more than 41 of those before age 40. I won't tell you how long ago that was, but I just am going to stop counting at that point. So moving on, please connect with me on LinkedIn and we will dive right into today's topic. We're going to move pretty quickly, so please ask questions in the chat. Or, you know, raise your hand, interrupt. We've got a couple of surveys, so have your smartphones ready so that you're going to be able to text your answers into the survey to participate. This is a 90-minute version of a 4-hour workshop that I give to CEO and key executives all around the country. So we're going to try to get you as much useful information as possible in our little window. You know, most importantly, though, you know, why do we care about investing in KPIs, right? When economic times were good, it's a lot about accountability. I just want to make sure that everyone's doing what they're supposed to do, that the bus is moving forward, but times are good, right? Like if we're wasting a little in profits when times are good, you know, we're less concerned about it. slap a pandemic in our laps, and all of a sudden profitability is now a huge reason for KPIs. What do I cut? What's going to hurt my business if I cut it versus what will help? And then agility, the way of the future is being able to make quick, decisive decisions. And the larger organizations get, the harder that is. But data gives us what we need in order to be quick and act fast. So Liz, why don't you tell us about this first survey? Because I'm pretty sure you meet all of these people building dashboards.
I really, really do. And there is no like spectacular answer to this because everyone falls in a bunch of different categories. But as we're getting started, we would just like to know, how would you grade your company's understanding of KPIs and access to data?
Really quick, Liz, let me tell them you got to text 22333 is who you're sending the text to. And you text Tara Kinney 738 and it'll tell you that you're in, and then you can answer this. So Liz, tell us about these categories.
All right, so let us know where you fall in this. Either you have it covered, you're just here for some validation, maybe some ideas of how to get a little bit more out of your data measurement programs or your general understanding. You might almost be there, just need a little bit of extra work. C is that you're as good as most of the peers. You're about even with everyone else in your industry, but you're striving to be better in that measurement program. D is lagging behind and you need to prioritize, and you're looking for ways that you can help prioritize your measurement and KPI programs. E is error does not compute. This is, you don't know what's going on, you need to figure this out, you need some help. And F is flying blind. You're not really measuring things. You're working on intuition, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Intuition is not a bad thing. Intuition is very helpful, but it doesn't give you those hard facts that data have, and a lot of time it's open to interpretation. So I see that there is a question here from Chelsea, if we can put the text info in the chat. So Tara, can you say that again for everyone?
Yes. So 22333 is who you're going to send the text to. You will first text Tara Kinney 738, all as one word, to that text number. You're going to then see that you are in my Poll Everywhere group, and there are several more surveys. So once you get in this time, you will be able to very quickly answer all future questions. So, I do have to say it's really interesting when I'm traveling around the country. Over the course of the presentation, people who start off saying, I'm a 4 out of 10, I'm a 3 out of 10 on my data, they discover things that they're doing actually really, really well that they didn't know or recognize that they were doing well. And we've had some Six Sigma black belts that gave themselves 9s and 9.5s out of 10 that after a little bit of the conversation, they realized they might have some gaps. So it's interesting to see how the situation changes, and data and KPIs are an evolving space. Every time you change your business and launch a new product or add a new technology or change a process, you change your KPIs and your data. And so, we need to make sure that we know whether or not those numbers are moving in the right direction as a result of the change. So I love seeing all these numbers. Look at this well-balanced crowd we've got here, Liz. So, all right. Well, we can keep them coming in, but for the sake of time, we're going to keep going. But I just want you to be able to see that amongst a group of your peers, that there are a lot of people who are probably in a similar situation to you, unless you're the A. Not a lot of people here might feel like the A, but I'm really glad you're here for validation, and I hope that you learned something new. Definitely the goal today is everyone take one good thing back. So can you guys not see the results on the screen? No?
No, we can't.
Oh my goodness. Well, can you see them now?
No.
Well, that is going to be such a bummer. Just a second. I'm going to screenshot it and drop it into chat. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm just going to tell you what it is and fix that later. We have 4% in A, 24% in B, 16% are as good as our peers but could be better, 28% are lagging behind and need to prioritize, 8% it's not computing, and 20% we are flying blind.
And those numbers are actually fairly consistent with what you sort of see across the board, with about 4% in that, yeah, we've got this covered, we're here for validation, we've got this handled. Because across the board of businesses, that's generally about the percentage that you see that are like, yeah, we've got this, we're good to go. And so it's interesting to see that split here today. So we've got a good group.
Fantastic. Well, let's keep rolling. If you downloaded the worksheets, you're going to see a couple of them that we're going to use often today, but you will find that this is the most valuable worksheet that you can have and use in your company. Use it over and over repeatedly. When we are going to take on a new initiative, this is what people have to complete. Like, okay, tell me how much you're going to spend and what we're going to get out of it and what resources are required to make it happen, because I want an accurate budget and I want you to build it so that we can measure whether or not we're going to get any value out of you spending that money. You can feel free to, use these repeatedly within your organization as a benefit of coming today. So the biggest thing is, if someone else already learned the lesson and created that wheel, then why am I going to go chipping at the stone to reinvent a wheel? Like, I don't need a sign that says bang my head here. If you already figured it out, then I'm going to learn from you. So let's start with what happens when you have no single source of truth. Whose data trumps whose when there's a disagreement? So we're going to talk a lot today about getting burned by data dragons. And you have a whole office full of knights in shining armor who are going to be trying to fight these data dragons, but they're kind of tricky and they hide. However, a lot of times you're going to find that people are coming to your meetings and people are making decisions without any data. And if you don't have data, you're just another person with an opinion. Well, we are human. And as humans, 90% of our decision making doesn't use data anyway. I mean, we are instinct, emotion, decision makers. So if you think of every single person in your company who's going around, 90% of their decisions are made without data, regardless of what data you have, regardless of whether or not they have access to data. And today we're really focusing on this 10% side, because if we can make the right data easily accessible to everybody, that 10% can have a huge impact on that instinct and emotion. Like, I know what to do now because I saw that one thing. So we're going to talk a lot today about case studies and why people need this information. There's definitely a lot of challenges when everyone shows up with opinions and no information. As a matter of fact, Liz, how many times have you felt like you're living in a Dilbert cartoon?
I mean, the comic has been around for years for a reason.
I swear I see this cartoon and it goes so great with that Deming analogy, because everyone shows up to the boardroom with their information and no one can agree on what's the best path or who's right or what needs resources. And, there can be some really interesting conversations, but there is a data reason for that. Data is the cause of the Dilbert cartoon. In many cases, for people who are flying blind and have no data, then it's just instinct. But People are divided by data within organizations.